All right. So I think everybody's got a drink.
Oh no! It's early, Luke. We lost you. What'd you say? You're holding up a cup, though. I like where you went. I couldn't hear it, but now you're holding up a cup, so that's good.
All right. Am I back?
Okay, now you're back. Yep. Okay.
I feel like I don't have enough in here. I feel like I need to
just confirming we all have drinks.
I got two. I got backup ready when this one runs out. I'm finishing off the eggnog.
Yeah.
I had eggnog for the first time this weekend.
Oh, very nice, Kyle. You'll appreciate this. I've got my barrel here to refill me.
Nice. That thing's so cool.
It's one of those.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I got suckered in it, Coles. It's just a little bourbon.
Okay. Well, I'm immediately the third most manly here. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're used to that, though. So
Kyle's got eggnog. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm drinking milk. It's okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to the second edition of Happy Half Hour, where we just make drinks and drink for a half hour. With me today, as always, my drinking buddy, Kyle. Kyle, how are you?
Great. Yourself?
Doing good. And joining us today, very special. I should have figured out how to correctly pronounce her last name because I said Brazil for a long time. But we're just going to say Tyler. Tyler, how are you?
Oh, I'm just ecstatic to be here.
Probably our biggest fan now that other Luke is a member of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because he was our biggest fan for a while.
I feel like you guys are like cannibalizing yourself.
We only get we don't get many fans, so when we do, we try to bring them on and kind of make sure that they start recording with us. Wait, Daddy's working.
We gotta get Daddy's working.
Well, I guess you can say hi to Kyle while we're at it, and Tyler.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. All right, fine.
This is my house, not your house.
All right. Can you stay out in the living room? No, you can't watch it in here. All right.
Good to see you, buddy. Bye.
That's how things usually work around here.
I like that this is considered work to the children.
Hey.
Daddy's working. He's drinking with people on the internet. That's work around here.
Get out of here. All right, so Tyler, as Kyle mentioned, a huge fan of ours, famous, I think, on another podcast. We're trying to recruit you over, but on UAH Hoops podcast, University of Alabama Huntsville, I believe.
That's correct.
I listened to the podcast. The two of my favorite episodes. You're on both of them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No offense to those other guys. So you have two more episodes experience of anybody else that's ever came on here before. So you're,
okay,
I think,
good.
in great shape. But first topic today, want to talk about betting this weekend. I think maybe some good stories, but I'm going to kick it off to Kyle first because you and I were doing more texting than usual on Sunday.
Yeah, you were on one. It was just nonstop coming from you. Every little play that would happen, like, oh, do we hop in live? You want to get on this again? More? And
I wasn't in those.
So yeah, it was. I just kept sending ha, and Luke was like, "Well, are we not doing it? Come on!" I was like, "Whoa!"
I was very confused.
Yeah. But no, I had a pretty good week. It was exciting. You know, it doesn't happen very often. So when you do finally win some money on a weekend, it's like, wow, this is why I remember why I like gambling again. But yeah, so I had I think I won about $150 on UFC Saturday night. And then I won about $600 yesterday on the NFL. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Not a bad day.
Yeah, I know. I took out $600 immediately this morning from my DraftKings account. I was like, we just got to get this out of here before I lose it.
Do you have to be a premium subscriber to Opinions Anonymous to get the UFC picks every weekend? I know we handed them out a couple weeks ago, and I won a lot of money. I'm just curious how I get those.
Yeah, it's a good question. Kyle texted me and said, "Hey, you got UFC picks?" And I said, "Of course I do, but I had one. Well, I probably had two fantastic weekends. One where I made a stupid amount of money for UFC that I know nothing about. And then I thought that I understood UFC, so I did it like the next 4 weekends and lost all of that money and more.
Yeah.
So I trying to take it easy. So I text Kyle a couple picks, and apparently, very first fight, our guy just gets fucking rocked. So,
Yeah, it wasn't great. Like the very first guy, he didn't like get knocked out or anything, but he lost and like just never looked like he wanted to fight. So it was just boring, and he lost. So I was just like, damn it, Luke. but it's all right.
We rebounded okay.
Yeah, we did all right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you got the main event right, and that's what's the most important. So
yeah, that's worth double points.
Right, everybody knows it.
Yeah,
and then on Sunday, I was actually a ridiculous. The Jets suck, and the Raiders score a touchdown with 5 seconds left away from winning like $300.
You texted me. You were like, I think I've done it, and then you're like, 10 seconds later, I didn't even get a chance to respond. You're like, never mind, the Jets blew it. I was like, what?
Fucking Jets.
Because it literally was the last play of the game.
It was. So I had a bunch of unders. I like the unders this weekend for whatever reason, and so I took 4 unders, parlayed it, but then took the 7 points on top of it. So was doing great. The Colts Texans, which our friend Alex is like, I don't know how Houston's going to score on that Indy defense. And then in the first half, I was like, oh, you're a fucking genius. So I pissed off. And then nobody scores in the second half, and I'm like, wait, I'm gonna be okay here. So then that one was fine, and then the Jets, man. So Tyler, you're a Colts fan, but you're sporting a Bengals jersey. So talk to me here.
I just love the Chad Johnson era. It's actually this is a youth large I'm wearing. It's very very fit. It's kind of an old jersey, and I just wanted to be respectful to the podcast and the fandom, and I like where their organization's heading, so I went ahead and threw on the Bengals.
That is great. I owe you for that. I thought it was T. Higgins at first, and I was like, man, we are really supporting the 2020.
No, Tyler just is one of those people who has never thrown out any jersey he's ever gotten in his life.
That's correct. Yeah, have me on again. I'll wear a different one. It'd be good.
Okay, yeah. I found old pictures on a random USB drive that I was worried about, and started going through them. And I was sporting a Steve Smith Panthers jersey for some.
Nice, that's a good one.
Forgot that. Was that Jake Delhomme era?
I believe so.
I've got Jake Delhomme in there. If you want to throw on,
you guys can
throw those jerseys on.
Team up next week too.
I'm working
every week.
Everybody keeps it. Hey, Jill.
We're trying to record a podcast.
Sorry about that.
All right, so you guys both had people come in. I live by myself, so if you see anybody coming through that door, we're in trouble.
You're totally screwed.
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler, you are famous on our podcast for the wonderful recommendations that you've given, and Thanksgiving, which Kyle and I were talking about. As soon as I watched it, it's gone viral. Everybody, I've heard of it like 7 times since then. So I don't know if it's you or if it's me or if it's the combination. That's why you're here today. See if we can make some magic happen.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the podcast.
Yeah, so I text today and I said bad movies, but what I said was B-rated movies on Netflix during that one summer where you had like a really bad time, and it autocorrected and you just.
Yeah, I understand.
I would love to hear from you because you recommended I watch Ginger Dead Men, which I plan to do before Christmas. I think it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean, just in time for the holidays. That makes sense.
Yeah. Tell us about this fascination of B movies and how this occurred.
Okay. Well, it was freshman year of college, and my roommate at the time, who I'd known since I was a child, like preschool era, he was pledging a fraternity that I just did not like very much, and I liked messing with him and his fraternity brothers during their time, and so it became kind of like look at this, like these B-list movies on here. It became like kind of a bit I would do where I would just be watching these movies when they would be coming back late because I knew they'd be back late every time, and then I started to enjoy them, and then it became like and I don't know if it's still out there, but the B-list, it was like B-list movies category on Netflix was like right below my continue watching. It was like the first category and just a line of them. And so I just started going through all of them and watching them, and became a year-long like con I did against my roommate, and they would just come back after a couple beverages and be angry I was watching terrible movies. That ended up being good movies in my eyes.
So what is your favorite B-list movie?
It's got to be Thanksgiving. I thought it was the most out there, the most creatively just put together. There were some highs and lows, like some very exciting, some very graphic scenes that you aren't expecting. And I just thought that, creatively, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so I found out recently the budget was $3,500, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know that before.
They did that with $3,500. I mean,
yeah, right. It's pretty good. Yeah, not 35,000, 3,500.
500.
So Tyler, a little bit similar, but vastly different. I love.
A little bit similar, but vastly different. Love that. Love that. Yes.
I love indie films, or like Sundance films, or finding hidden gems. So I watch a lot of what I would consider really bad movies, because most of them turn out that way. So I'm not even that against these recommendations, and I'm pretty excited to watch Ginger Dead Men. It's different in that the budget for an indie film is like Kyle said, maybe 35,000, maybe a couple 100,000, but it was ridiculous when, like, if we tried to make a movie today, it would not be better than Thanksgiving.
It wouldn't.
All right, and last thing I want to open up. It's December 7th today, which means we're just a couple weeks away from the best time of the year. I want to know if either of you have any good Christmas traditions, something you do every year, maybe not even around Christmas, just December when it's cold, with your buddies, with your family, anything that you guys have worth sharing?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we didn't have any really Christmas traditions. The only thing is we would go see Star Wars if there was a Star Wars movie out.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like if it's a Star Wars year, nobody can go see it until Christmas time. It usually comes around that area, but that's really the only Christmas tradition in our household.
It's a good one. More movie related.
Yeah. Tyler, you've maybe seen more movies than me.
There's a chance. There's a real good chance.
I'll step my game up. Kyle, you mentioned beef jerky. I sent a text out to the group the other day about jackalope.
Yes.
So I ordered a man crate. I don't know if you know what those are.
I feel like it could go a lot of different ways. I don't know.
It is. It's a giant wooden box, and what I didn't realize, I was reading after I ordered it, they say it takes like 15 minutes to open. So the part of the fun, I guess, is they give you a crowbar and you have to pry open the crate by yourself.
I don't even care what's in the. I don't even care what's in the crate. I would buy this thing just to open the crate.
Right. When's this arriving? We have to film you doing it. Like,
it's gotta be soon. But I bought it for Christmas for my dad and brother because I got like the exotic meat ones.
Okay.
And it has just like 8 different things that you would never eat in your life, and it's all made into jerky.
All right.
I'm gonna try. It's like one of them is tuna jerky. Like, I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable about that one, but I'm gonna try them all if I can get the fucking crate open. For itself.
That's awesome. I like every part of that. We definitely need to make some content out of that, though, because I want to see it happen. I want to see you try to open this box.
You talked about snowboarding a little bit. This is what I say earlier, Kyle. Semi-related, but vastly different.
Yes, similar, but vastly different.
I not only can't snowboard, I've never skied, I can't swim, and I once tried to water ski, so all of that makes it a really good time.
You should just stay off those kind of sports.
Yeah.
All of that sounded pretty normal until you got to "and I can't swim." It was like, whoa.
You probably shouldn't be doing the water skiing if you can't swim.
Right.
Figure that one out first.
That's when the wheels started turning in my head, and I was like, hold on here.
Funny story. I went with 2 of my friends to Dale Hollow Lake on a boating trip, which is fine. I don't mind being on a boat. I'm a little uncomfortable, but I get over it. And they like to do what most people do, which is go park somewhere, put on some life jackets, float, and drink, which I was okay with. I was fine with doing that. But my life jacket, I was putting it on, and I just felt like I kept sinking, and they're just having a damn good time, and I can't get away from the boat because I still need to hold on, and I'm really struggling, and I can't figure it out. So after 2 hours of them making fun of me, and they were done floating, we decided to get back on the boat, and I take off my life jacket and I throw it down, and in huge letters it says, "This is not a life jacket." It was like, okay, they gave me one of those like wakeboard vests, which is enough to like keep you going if you crash off your wakeboard, but it would not keep me floating. And
that seems like a serious hazard. Like, what if like you're just like somebody falls overboard and you like grab the first life jacket you see? You're not gonna read it, and then you throw it to them, and then they like grab it and they just keep going down.
That was me. This is a miracle that this podcast is even happening.
Oh, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing.
I needed that.
All right, so back to what I was saying earlier. Tyler, with you being an IU fan, I don't know if you're an IU football fan, but after the game, after IU beat Wisconsin, they interviewed, it's Coach Allen, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and I say every player, but it's like a 3-minute span where every player comes up and they're like, "This is the best coach in America. Like, recruits need to come here. We love this guy." And it was, I get that, Kyle, you hate him, but as a Bengals fan, like, I'm like, we have the worst coach in America and our players fucking hate you. I just want for one time for the players, for the Bengals to react like all the IU players did to Coach Allen after that game, because it's incredible. And then in the locker room afterwards,
the locker room,
you tell that he has the players' respect. And I think I was more depressed that on Sunday I had to turn on a team that just is so bad. But thoughts on that in general?
So a little background for you, little fun fact. As Kyle knows, I have many.
Lots of fun facts on this guy.
As a freshman at IU, I attended more sporting events collectively than any student in the school and won a big award for it. And so this is a kind of a big moment for me in that I've been through so many years of, don't get me wrong, some fun IU teams as far as like football goes, like really fun offenses, but everybody kind of knew Kevin Wilson was just kind of not a great guy. Like, nobody really liked him. And so when you were good, it was like, oh, cool, like whatever. So then this new guy comes in and every guy loves him. You're right. The post game, I love the locker rooms where they all start screaming that they love him. I think that's the greatest thing ever. So it's like, it's nice to have success and also be like a good person. And he's from Indianapolis, so I like that too. Not to get emotional on you guys, but you know, it's pretty emotional.
No, it's great. I'm so jealous. That's why I hate it so much more, because like I do love, it's like, he's awesome. Yeah. Like, I'm so nervous that Purdue's gonna have to play this guy for the next 40 years and just maybe win 5 of those games.
Yeah, that's the way he talks. It's like he's gonna be here forever. And it's like,
I know, like he doesn't seem like he has any intention of going to a bigger school or anything. He wants to stay there. And God, I hate. It's just sending shivers down my spine right now.
Have me on the podcast in 2 weeks when he announces he's taking the Texas job. It'll be fine.
I know it would be a pretty big demotion, but it'd be interesting to see him go to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Just, you know, just a thought.
All right, I've got nothing else important. So,
you guys want to hear about my tire changing experience?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
Well, so I text Tyler. I texted and I said, "Hey, give me your allegiances, college and pro," just so I had a talking point for this.
Mm-hmm.
And he never responded, and I was just like, "This guy's a fucking prick." Like, before we even, and then he texts and says, "Sorry, changing tire," and I was like, "So yeah, love to hear what this is."
I did see your text. Like I saw like the 812 number come in on my phone as I was using the flashlight to figure some things out, and it just like gave me severe anxiety while I was down there that it was like 6:30 and I hadn't prepped, and then you were like texting me about stuff, and I was and I did not get to prep at all, and that's fine. But so I got a flat tire on Friday. Technically, probably the previous Wednesday, and I was at Jiffy Lube getting an oil change. They said it was good. They filled it up, and I just drove home. And then on Friday, I was driving to the grocery, and it was completely flat. And so I pulled into the back lot here, and just said, "That's future Tyler's problem. We'll deal with it later."
Good move.
And then I had a very long weekend, and it did not get addressed yesterday, and it did not get addressed today either until about say 5:15. I went out there without saying how long I was out there in totality, but I got it all set up. My neighbor's a coworker, so he came out when he got home from work and helped me out, and that was like 5:30. And you know, my issue is like when I was in high school, I tried to change a tire, and I put the scissor thing, scissor jack thing, under like on the bumper of the car and just shattered the plastic when I tried to like get it up.
Yeah.
And the kid's in there again.
Yep.
But, and so I assume he can hear me, but
yeah.
So I was like very nervous about where to put it. My coworker / neighbor didn't want to make the decision on where to put it, and we were both very lost. Like so we picked something underneath the car that looked hard enough to hold the car. So
I love just picturing you two trying to figure this out. Just
we had like
I don't know.
It was like we were like knocking on stuff. Like, is it? Like that's not plastic.
Is this stable?
And so we picked something, and then we get it up, and made sure there was enough room underneath it, and then I got the bolts off and everything, and like tried like pulling it off, and it wouldn't come off. So I FaceTimed my mom, and she like after 10 seconds was like, I mean, it should just come off. Like, I don't know what she wants from me. Like, read the manual. And then she hung up on me, and then
Tough love from Mama Brazel. She don't take no bullshit.
So I read the manual again, and there was nothing in there. Like it was almost like it was like caught on something. Like I could not figure out why it would not just come out. And so finally, like I called the guy at Discount Tire down the road 2 minutes before they closed, and was like, "Hey, could you help me? Like my car, like the tire won't come off. Like it's." And he said, "Did you take the nuts off?" "Yes, I did, sir. Thank you." And he said, "Okay, well, here's what you're going to do." Yeah, right. Like, very much, Chuck. And so then he said, "Okay, here's what you're going to do." He's like, "I need you to put your emergency brake on." He's like, "I need you to screw 2 bolts in across from each other to where they're touching, like not touching the bumper, but very close." He said, "And then I need you to get your sludge hammer, if you have one, and just hit the tire as hard as you can." And like, I was baffled by this, but he was like, "That's the only thing I know of to get it off." I was like, "Well, I don't have a sledgehammer." So he said, "Okay." He's like, "Well, if you don't have a sledgehammer," he's like, "I need you to turn around and donkey kick it as hard as you can."
Are you sure you called like an actual licensed tire dealership for this? Or did you misdial and just call some dude up the road in the trailer park?
Hey, did you call Discount Tire or Discount Tobacco?
And he ends the conversation with, "We never had this conversation." I was like my leg's gonna shatter when I like try and like do this. And so we kind of, and keep in mind at this point, the thing is like about a foot under the car on something metalish, like up in the air. And he told us, he's like, when you kick it, it's probably you're gonna lose the scissor jack under there, and it's gonna fall. And we were like, this is not like a good idea.
This is like the worst advice I've ever heard.
And we just like kept looking at each other, and we were like, we were both kind of like, that was ridiculous. And we were like, but we should probably try it, right? Like, go for it. So then I called my father, and I was like, "Hey, so here's what the guy said at Discount Tire." And we sent a couple pictures back and forth, and he called me an idiot for where I put it up in the air with initially. And he's like, put it down, bring it back out. And like, he's like, you see the crease that goes on the metal thing? How hard is that? And so we did that, and we got it up in the air, and it went up way smoother than the thing that we put it on. And once we got up, and then we did kind of like he checked his gas tank, make sure he had enough gas to get me to the hospital. And then I wound up, and as I was backing up, I got a calf cramp, and just like my leg was shaking, and it was a problem. And so then finally, once we got that under control, and then just turned around and wound up and just kicked the crap out of it as hard as I could. The jack did not fall; it was secure in place.
There we go.
And then we just heard like a little ding, and it like came loose a little bit. And we're like, oh, that might be it. That could be it. And then we hired it up a little bit because we lowered it as much as possible. So if the thing went, then it was only going to fall. And then it just popped right off. So
Wow.
the guy, a big thank you tomorrow.
Wow. It turns out he knew what he was doing. That's awesome.
So that was about 2 hours. And that's why my anxiety was through the roof. And I was a little on edge coming onto this thing. My legs are still shaking a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Well, bravo. Way to get through that. That's impressive.
Yeah, you know, us city boys, we don't change tires often, and had to do it on my own for the first time with the help of a neighbor. So
We're
it's a
good.
big moment.
A good neighbor, 2 FaceTimes, and Chuck from Discount Tobacco.
Well, my favorite thing is that I was in a back lot where like I was there for a while, and no less than, let's call it 15 people had come and gone, and not one of them said like, hey, like, do you need help? Like, you've been here for hours since we've like come and gone from our cars, and not one person asked if I needed help. So I learned a lot about my neighbors today.
Yeah.
So that was my evening.
One, you already have the best and funniest story that we've heard in probably months. And 2, then you get on here and realize how unprofessional we are, and you're like, I was worried about preparing for these fucking hooligans.
Right.
All I wanted to do was make sure I knew what I gambled on this weekend, and I didn't have time to look through it. I just know that I scrolled it, and it was losses.
Well, I'll say that's fine. You gave us a good recap, so it's
Yeah, there are show notes noting that you weren't prepared on that piece. So you'll get a
Thank you.
write up later.
Yeah, no, that's I understand.
Expect to be disciplined. It's
All right. Well, that's it for this week's Happy Half Hour with a bonus story. Maybe carrying us a little over a half
I
hour.
went a little
Maybe
over.
I'll cut out.
That's all right.
Yeah. I'll cut out some of my skipping, and this will be trimmed down to like 3 minutes and midnight. So, as always, thanks for listening. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see this. Like us on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you listen. And look, if you got questions for Kyle and I and Tyler, we're making Tyler come back next week when we drink.
I'm fine with that.
Just because. So
I mean,
if you have
actually-
questions for us, we are always open. We will tackle any and everything. So let us know. Until next time, thanks for listening.